Today's conversation is around a deep dive on functional capabilities of Hyperbots Accruals Co-Pilot. And first question for you. So finance teams still chase spreadsheets at month end, and how does Accruals Co-Pilot change that for you?
Well, hey, thanks, Chase. Instead of emailing from plant managers on goods received, not invoice counts, Copilot queries SAP, NetSuite, Epicor, Visibility, whichever ERP system you run to compile uninvoiced PO or service entry, and then books the accrual journal automatically. Closing can take hours and not days, and the variance to actual can actually be under 5%.
And what kinds of accrual policies can be configured?
Goods, services, recurring expenses, or manual kind of manager estimates accruals, each with its own materiality rules and GL buckets. Most tools provide a single rule set. Hyperbots lets IT set hundreds of policy combinations without any coding.
And on the cutoff dates, is that daily, weekly, monthly?
Take your pick. Some entities run daily cutoffs based on project margins and swing fast. Corporate does a classic month end. Hyperbots can remember each calendar and each holiday table per entity.
Awesome. And reversals are error prone, and how are those automated for you?
You get to decide blanket day one reversal or real time reversal when matching invoices post. I think that's an interesting one where you can actually, as soon as the part comes in, it switches it, which is pretty amazing. We use the same journal ID so auditors can instantly find the link.
Awesome. Just very customizable, flexible for your needs. And how does the Copilot discover GRNI, so goods received, not invoiced data?
Yeah, it fetches every receipt line with no invoice reference, matches the quantity, price, tax, and accrues the liability. A competitor's bot, for example, that Hyperbots tested only used PO headers, which is a huge variance when it comes to partial receipts.
And services can be fuzzy. What about service received, not invoiced?
We pull approved service sheets from the ERP time entry module and accrue the cost even if the freelancer bills 2 weeks later. That prevents most of the late landing expense as a surprise.
And recurring no PO costs, rent, SaaS fees, how are those handled?
A cadence engine looks at prior periods and contracts and predicts the expenses and books the recurring accrual. There are competing tools that expect you to load a template in CSV every month, which is not needed in Hyperbots.
And you had mentioned invoices still in the approval queue. Could you explain that in a little bit more detail?
Sure. At cutoff, the Copilot asks the invoice processing Copilot which invoices are pending. Those are moved to the exclude list, shrinking duplicate accrual risk. Manual processes rarely reconcile the two lists.
And talk me through the three-way matching that your team relies on.
So the AI engine matches the invoice to the PO price and quantity, and then to each receipt line across 100 fields with numeric reasoning and descriptions. The invoice is processed into the ERP once the receipts are confirmed against the proper PO and line.
And what happens when something doesn't line up?
Exception workflows fire in teams. For example, line 30 quantity variance 5%, approve or edit might be the question you get. AP clicks approve, journal rebooks. There are competing RPA solutions that drop them into a manual tab in hopes that you notice.
Sure. And is there a self-service portal for business users to enter manual accruals?
Yes, any authorized employee can log in a one-off estimate, attach a note, and the Copilot routes it for approval, then posts it. No more emailing accounting with sticky note numbers.
Gotta love that.
Yes.
And how does the GL recommender decide the account for each accrual?
It studies historical journals plus any human overrides or training. With 2 closes, it can hit 99% coding accuracy. Some competitors require a table to be updated by IT every quarter.
And the actual postings, is that still manual journal entry uploads?
So all journals are posted via the ERP API. then reads back to confirms that debits equal credits. No CSV imports, no night batch suspense clearing. It's done all in real time.
Sure. And how are those notifications delivered to the specific employees?
You've got options. You could do real-time Slack and Teams alerts, uh, book totals by business unit, exceptions needing approval, and reversal confirmations. Competitors to Hyperbots will send, a 50-row Excel sheet after closing.
And what about an audit trail?
So every policy, override, and posting is time-stamped and hash-chained in Hyperbots. Auditors can pull the entire quarter's accrual lifecycle in under 10 minutes.
And for our instance, can we run a single global process even with multiple ERPs?
Yes, one rule can drive SAP, NetSuite, and Sage instances. Hyperbots can standardize the data before AI thinks so that US GAAP plant and an IFRS plant still follow the same approval workflow.
Or conversely, can entities keep distinct rules?
Yeah, flip a toggle, and Germany keeps its strict GDPR-based policy. The US permits PO-based accruals. Both configurations can live side by side.
And how does single sign-on work when users need data from, say, three ERPs?
So one Azure AD logon, Hyperbots routes credentials to the right ERP connector invisibly. AP never needs to log out to switch different ledgers.
And could you give me a real deployment example from your case?
Sure. Yeah, like for example, two entities, two ERPs, SAP and NetSuite. Hyperbots installs two connectors, maps fields once, and can book 5,000 accrual lines in the first close. Variance to actual was under 4%, which saved accounting team their weekends as a result.
Gotta love it. And how does Hyperbots beat typical accrual tools that you've seen?
So others give you a template and a bot that posts. Hyperbot gives you a policy-driven AI, 99.8% field accuracy, real-time posting, 80% productivity gains, live audit trails, multi-ERP harmonization, while legacy software still asks controllers to please fill in a spreadsheet.
Awesome. That'll do it.